After the COVID vaccine, the next hot topic in the world is who will win the 2020 US presidential elections. Joe Biden and Donald Trump will go head-to-head for the White House on November 3rd. Democratic challenger Joe Biden is currently leading Donald Trump in the national polls as the US approaches its next presidential election. Americans will vote on November 3rd, 2020 in order to elect their next president, either giving Mr. Trump another 4 years or handing over the keys to the White House to Mr. Joe Biden. However, on October 2nd, 2020, the president was taken to the hospital with COVID-19. Though the president now appears to have recovered, it is unclear that what effect this will have on the presidential race.
And we're going to win 4 more years in the White House.
Never been above 50% job approval in the Gallup poll. Never even been attempted before.
Mr. Trump triumphed in 2016 despite losing the popular vote. So it is still far too early to say who will win the White House later this year.
Standing between the American dream and total anarchy, madness, and chaos. And that's what it is. I'm representing you. I'm just here.
Donald Trump and Joe Biden faced each other in the first presidential debate in September. In a bad-tempered and at times chaotic debate, the candidate ripped chunks out of each other on their records and issues such as the economy and race. Mr. Trump was rebuked several times by Chris Wallace, the moderator, for speaking over his opponent. At one point, after incessant interruptions from the president, Mr. Biden said, "Will you shut up, man?"
People out there need help.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you weren't president. Because you weren't president screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were
president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on. His own
this is a
FBI director
This
said
is a left-wing
white supremacy.
This is radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
Presidential debates are a political version of gladiatorial combat, and they have in past turned elections. There are 3 debates before each election. The first debate in 2020 was watched by approximately 84 million people on television, and that doesn't include the millions who watched on Facebook, YouTube, and other online venues or at parties and bars. The BBC's news described it as the political equivalent of a food fight, with the former president emerging as the man least covered in slop. But what do the polls tell us? Well, the one we have all put the Democrat ahead, but by varying margins. A Wall Street Journal national poll conducted after the debate found Mr. Biden on 53% and his rival on 39%, a gap 6 points wider than in their previous poll 2 weeks earlier. Meanwhile, both Mr. Trump's and Mr. Biden's running mates, Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris, clashed in their own vice presidential debate on Wednesday night, with the focus dominated by Trump administration's COVID-19 response. Donald Trump's presidential approval ratings are at a steady levels according to a poll tracker. The tracker, which takes an average of the last 8 polls, Mr. Trump's approval rating at around 44%, while 54% disapprove of the way the president is doing his job. The president's approval ratings had recovered slightly recently after experiencing a rally around the flag effect, with Americans backing the government to handle the coronavirus crisis. His approval rating quickly slumped into the chaotic days after assuming office, with Trump achieving a majority of disapproval rating in a record of just 8 days. 3 years in, he is far less popular than previous presidents at this stage of a presidency, but overall approval has generally remained above 40%. Still, with the president having defied political gravity 4 years ago, the jury is out as to whether he can do the same again against his new Democrat opponent.
Joe is a man who learned early on to treat every person he meets with respect and dignity, living by the words his parents taught him. No one's better than you, Joe, but you're better than nobody. That empathy, that decency, the belief that everybody counts, that's who Joe is.
He had nothing, he did virtually nothing. And then he gets out of the hospital and he talks about, don't worry, it's all going to be over soon. Come on. There's not another serious scientist in the world who thinks it's going to be over soon.
President Trump, your reaction?
I say over soon. I say we're learning to live with it. We have no choice. We can't lock ourselves up in a basement like Joe does. He has the ability to lock himself up. I don't know. He's obviously made a lot of money someplace, but he has this thing about living in a basement.
Whatever be the results, let the better man win. That's it for today. I hope you got enough information about the US elections. Please subscribe to Prime Choice to get more updates about the latest trends in the world. Till then, keep liking and sharing.